So I'm out here with two of my friends today to teach you guys a little bit about tires, how to flip them, how to pick them. If you're at a gym and you already have the tires, you just got to use what you got. But if you're going to get your own, a couple tips: don't go out and buy a new tire. Find a recycling plant. You know, this is where the tires that are flat or need repaired or whatnot will go to. Normally they get chopped up so you can get them for almost nothing, sometimes even free. That's where I got these two guys from, and most of my other tires. You know, a small puncture hole isn't going to bother you guys when you're flipping them. Just make sure it doesn't have any nails or screws or anything in them. So when you're picking a tire, there's a couple things to consider. Obviously the weight for whatever you're going to use it for. If it's conditioning, you might want a tire that you can do a few more reps. If it's strength based, then you want a heavier base tire. But other things that people don't think about are the actual size of the tire, the dimensions, the type of tread, and different things that you can do with different types of tires. So these are kind of our two middle-sized tires that we use for our outdoor training. As you can see, they're about the same height. This, about chest height tends to work best for most people. This tire here is a little bit wider, so when people are gripping this, you'll notice that it takes up a little bit more of the arm. So women sometimes will prefer a narrow tire like this one as opposed to this one because their upper body parts don't get in the way. But both tires, work fairly well. Another thing to consider is the tread. On this tire here, you notice the tread is aggressive. You could actually grab the middle of that, whereas this is kind of a soft, not very aggressive tread, so you have to always grab from the bottom. So this one gives you two gripping options when you're flipping it, whereas this one does not. And lastly, the width of the tire will affect a little bit of the angle of how you're flipping it and how much ground it covers. If you're in a really small gym, if you can get a heavier and narrower tire, you'll be able to flip it more times in that same amount of space, whereas this tire will cover more distance and fewer flips. And the leverage of a wider tire also is a little bit better. As you go to flip it, kind of that turning point is a little bit easier because you get a little bit better lever, whereas the narrower tire you don't get as good of a lever, so you carry that weight a little bit longer into the lift. So when you're flipping a tire, it's not a dead lift, so it's not from here straight up. It's a combination of coming up and pushing the tire over, so it's almost like starting a deadlift and then doing a forward leaning squat. The big thing you want to start off with is a wide base. You want to make sure that you have room to get your arms underneath the tire and be extended without your legs trying to interfere. If you end up in close like this with your legs inside your arms, you can have trouble activating the glutes, which is not what you want doing the drive. You'll end up using too much lower back. So you want a sideways base. You get down low, okay, you want to drop the butt head up, and then you want to drive the tire up and then forward and over. This is a fairly light tire, so it kind of goes up and easy for me. For people that are not as advanced, or if you're working with a heavier tire, you might do a transition move where you're low, you're coming forward, and then you hit with the knee and then drive it over. The goal should be, once you get to where your technique is good, is that it's as seamless of a motion as possible, where you're coming up explosively and driving over in one solid motion. There's a couple different intentions that you can have as far as what you're trying to do. If you're trying to work on speed, you're trying to work on conditioning, you're trying to work pure strength. So this is about a medium weight tire, a little 300 pounds or so, I would guess. And lifting this, you can either do, like for me, it would be conditioning wise, I could do a lot of reps. I could do short rest intervals, or you can do dynamic lifts. And with dynamic lifts, you change your form a little bit because the goal is to be as explosive as you can. And if you're using a tire that's a sub-maximal weight, you'll be able to kind of get a little bit more inertia, and the tire will kind of flip itself over. So rather than going forward as much with the tire, I'll have the same start, but as I come up, the tire's going to go with me, and I'm almost getting into a triple extension like you would doing a snatch or a clean, and that you're extending the calves, the hips, and the lower back in that full extension. I'll do one more from this other side. You can kind of see this is a standard. I was just flipping the tire up into the tire and over. And then if I want to do it dynamically, it's going to be a little bit more vertical, almost like I would try to jump backwards. And the tire goes over a little bit more explosively. So continuing on what you can do dynamically, small tires are good for that too, because you can do throws. The advantage of having something where you can release it is you don't have to worry about the catch, and you can focus simply on the acceleration. So with the tire, if you're shorter, the shorter the tire, the better. So if the higher the tire, the more it'll be like doing like a mid-thigh snatch. So one way to do it is to do a double overhand grip and go from a squat, and you're going to have the tire sitting on your thighs just like you would at the beginning of a snatch. Okay, and you go triple extension and flip it over. Okay. Another variation you can do with the small tire is to use a neutral grip. This would be similar to like using a jackhammer style, kettlebell type length and length, where you can use a double neutral grip. So for this one, instead of resting on the thighs, you can bring it a little bit lower. Same thing, and over. So first thing you'll notice about this tire is it's a lot bigger. So this is about almost 750 pound tire, but it's also a lot taller. This is a steel band tire, so a lot more of the weight is actually in the exterior of the tire, which actually makes it more difficult than having more center weight. So it's a heavy tire, and it's bigger and more awkward. So me having nice short arms like I do, what you'll see is I have to change my form a little bit. I have to have a little bit more of a squatted position, and you'll really get to see me get to use that drive and the knee drive as well to get the tire over.